Apple has a problem they will never mention on stage. Not in earnings calls, not in keynotes, not while someone in a black shirt talks about nanometers and neural engines and the future of personal computing. The problem is this. For the way most people actually use a laptop, opening tabs, joining calls, writing documents, watching video, the 2020 MacBook Air is not just good enough. It is practically identical to the machine they are selling today at more than double the price. Apple's biggest competitor in 2026 is not Samsung, not Qualcomm, not Microsoft. It is their own 2020 inventory. And the math behind that statement is something their marketing depends on you never sitting with too carefully. In November 2020, Apple announced the M1 chip and put it inside the MacBook Air. Fanless, silent. A thin, light laptop that was supposed to be affordable and turned out to be one of the most significant pieces of consumer hardware in a generation. The benchmarks landed and the tech world went quiet. The M1 Air was not just faster than the Intel MacBook it replaced, it was faster than premium Windows laptops from Dell, HP, and Lenovo that had been sitting at the top of recommendation lists for years. It handled video editing, code compilation, and demanding creative software, silently, without heating up, lasting a genuine full day on a single charge. It did not just beat Intel, it reset the floor for what a laptop should be. And in resetting that floor so completely, Apple created a baseline of performance so high that the vast majority of people who bought an M1 Air in 2020 have never once felt like their machine was not keeping up. Think honestly about what you actually do on a laptop. Browsing, video calls, writing, streaming, managing photos, light creative work, spreadsheets, presentations. For every single one of those tasks, the M1 MacBook Air was more than sufficient in 2020. And here's the part the upgrade cycle depends on you not thinking about too carefully. Those tasks have not gotten heavier. A 4K YouTube video does not require more processing power to play in 2026 than it did in 2020. A Zoom call does not demand more from your CPU than it did 5 years ago. Chrome opening a tab is not more computationally demanding than it was when the M1 launched. If the M1 Air opened Spotify in half a second in 2020, it opens Spotify in half a second today. The machine has not slowed down, the tasks have not grown, the experience has not degraded. What has changed is the marketing around the newer models. And marketing is extremely good at making unchanged experiences feel insufficient. In 2026, a refurbished M1 MacBook Air sits between $450 and $550. The M5 MacBook Air starts above $1,000, a gap of roughly $500 to $600. Open a side-by-side comparison of an M1 Air and an M4 Air doing the things most people actually do: launching apps, loading websites, opening files, starting a video call, and the differences are measured in fractions of a second, sometimes less than half a second. A difference so small that human perception cannot reliably detect it without slow-motion camera equipment pointed at both screens simultaneously. You are paying $500 for a bar graph. In 2026, AI is the primary case being made for upgrading to the newest Apple silicon. The M4 and M5 are described as built for Apple intelligence. The implication is that if you want the AI future Apple is building, you need the hardware Apple is currently selling. Here's what that implication leaves out. The M1 was the first mass-market consumer chip to ship with a dedicated neural engine, silicon specifically designed for machine learning, in 2020, before the term AI PC existed, before anyone was putting AI stickers on laptop boxes. It handled Siri, real-time photo processing, on-device translation, and background machine learning tasks from day one. The M4 and M5 neural engines are more powerful. The numbers are higher, but for the AI tasks that genuinely affect daily life for most users, having an email rewritten, getting a notification summarized, running a photo through an enhancement tool, the M1 and M2 handle them without complaint. You do not need a 3nm chip to have AI summarize your messages. The M1 was an AI PC before the term was invented. The industry just forgot to put a sticker on it. People buy the newest chip for future-proofing. Spend more now to avoid spending again soon. But Apple supports Mac hardware with macOS updates for around 7 years from release. The M1 MacBook Air, released in late 2020, receives updates through at least 2027 with security patches extending further. An M1 Air at $500 gives you a cost per year of computing that is genuinely difficult to match at any price in the laptop market. Future-proofing makes sense when the future is actually coming for your use case. Developers working with large code bases, video editors working at climbing resolutions, people running local AI models that grow in size and complexity. For those users, more performance has a real destination. But if your tasks today look broadly similar to your tasks in 3 years, future-proofing is another word for paying now for headroom you will never reach. The M1 and M2 have headroom most of their owners have never touched. There is one test that captures this entire argument in a single image. Join a Zoom call on an M1 MacBook Air. Join the same call on an M5. Your face, camera, microphone, and connection are identical. The person on the other end sees the same image, hears the same audio, experiences the same meeting. No badge, no indicator, no perceptible gap. A machine costing over $1,000 and a machine costing $450 look exactly the same on a Zoom call. That is not an argument against the M5. It is an argument for being honest about what you are actually buying when you spend the difference. Apple built something in 2020 so far ahead of what most people needed that they created a problem they are still solving 6 years later. A product that works so well, lasts so long, and remains so relevant that the argument for replacing it keeps coming up short against honest scrutiny. If you own an M1 or M2 MacBook Air, you are not behind. You are not missing out. You are running one of the best laptops ever made. It just does not have this year's sticker on it. Speaking of products the industry wrote off too quickly, we broke down the full story of the netbook, the category that was completely right about the future of computing and arrived 15 years too early to prove it. If you have not watched that one yet, it is worth your time.